He's a great competitor.
Jim McMahon puts the Bears ahead with a 16-yard touchdown run.
I mean, he is a tough guy.
Here's McMahon. Hit touchdown to Morris. McMahon hit hard just as he let it go, but look in there, he's got the ball to Morris.
One thing about Jim McMahon. I like Jim McMahon.
That's one thing about McMahon. He doesn't worry about the horse being blind. He's just going to load the wagon out there.
He sees a linebacker shift here, and these two guys move up. You see that? Then you see the other linebacker move, and the safeties move up. He expected a blitz. He didn't have his protection, so he called a timeout.
He looks like he'd have trouble seeing out of that helmet.
Hey, he got a lot of face mask on there, but he's been wearing that type of thing for long. He's used to it. In the old days, that was a defensive line. You know, that could have been left from Bill George or someone around here laying around the locker room.
You know, and that's what Jim McMahon's all about. I mean, he does everything wrong. Like, you can't wear a visor and play quarterback because you can't even see through that thing. And you shouldn't have all that stuff, all those undershirts on and long sleeves and stuff. You can't play quarterback and wear gloves because you can't throw the ball. And he does all those things. And, you know, Jim McMahon can't do it, but he beats you.
If you dropped him in the water, he'd go right straight to the bottom.
That's right.
But if he could get loose, his team would come out on top.
Yeah, he'd end up on the beach somehow.
Yeah.
He'd go straight to the bottom and end up on the beach. He wants to get in a fight. You can't do that. The quarterback, you can't fight.
You don't hear about many quarterbacks being in fights.
No, usually they're off, you know, telling everyone, calm down, calm down. See, I think it's that extra hit there at the knee when Doug Reed came over the top. Then McMahon said, when you're a quarterback, the way you fight a guy is you throw the ball at him.
And then you back up.
Yeah, he zings it in at Reed.
He had that hair last night and a spike, he called it. Had it all worked up, said it was looking good. Look, he's wearing one glove. He has a glove on his left hand, on his right hand. Yeah, but that's a picture without a spike. He didn't have the spike going there. Last night he had the spike. Look, he has a glove on his left hand and right hand. See that throwing hand?
Before the game, he was out on the field checking out the turf in a robe and slippers.
And the sunglasses. The minute you say to Jim McMahon, hey, you're not supposed to do it, I'll guarantee you one thing, he's going to do it.
He still has that headband on, I see this week.
But it has a different name on it.
You know, last week they told him he couldn't do it, so he did it. And then, of course, the Bears have been fined for it. And this week he put it on, but he changed the name on it.
I didn't know he had a sporting goods company, did you?
No, but I think that's the answer. I think they got a letter from Commissioner Pete Rozelle, and I think that's McMahon's letter back to him. He comes out early, and he drop kicks field goals, and he said he was going to go for a world record, 60 yards. He said he had a 55-yarder, and he was going to go for a 60-yarder today. Then I had to leave, so I didn't know if he made it or not. There he is. You see that right hand? See, he has the cast or the bandage on the right hand. He's drinking out of the left, but the latest report we had was that he hurt his back, and that was the reason he went out.
Really walking with a lot of pain earlier.
He's still chewing that tobacco.
Yep.
He has the drink out of the cup to spit in. And outside, you
wouldn't want to make a mistake, would you?
That McMahon's a beauty, isn't he?
I'll tell you.
The way he dresses. One thing about that shirt, though, it doesn't wrinkle when you sweat in it.
Look at those pants that he's wearing. Those things have been through the laundry a couple times. They've been through some washers, dryers, through a couple refrigerators probably.
He wouldn't let him wear what he wanted to wear. Mike Ditka made him wear what he wanted him to wear. But he still gives it that individual look. You know, he still has something there. He got the cat. Now, he always wears those sunglasses because that's a prescription type thing. I saw him out here before. Excuse me, Pat.
Yeah.
You know, he had like one long sleeve and one short sleeve, and he had sweatbands on, and he had quite an outfit. I mean, he looked like something you'd see flopping around on Halloween. Yesterday, he was out there in a pair of leather pants. Tried to talk me into getting a pair of them. I don't think I'd ever do that one.
I'm glad.
I tell you, there's a get-up, and that get-up will get more extravagant as the game goes on. He got the headband now outside the towel. He got the thing. Now, he took the shoulder pads off. He likes that because now his arms look bigger. You see, so now he got the water. He's working up an outfit there that will be outrageous by the time this game is over. I'll guarantee you.
It's not already?
No, it's getting there. He's working on outrageous. He's working on weird. Pretty good weird.
He is, as you said, different.
You know how that started. During the week, Mike Ditka told him they played like a bunch of high school kids. And McMahon said he tried to dress like one. Now that opens a lane. Now McMahon says, I'm going to throw. Nope, I'll run. No, I'll throw. No, I'll throw. No, I'll run. No, well, I'll go out of bounds. He didn't like that play call. He said, what the heck are we calling that for on 3rd and long? Yeah, you know, he and Mike Ditka went for, remember that period of time? Yeah. They went for 1 month and didn't talk to each other. Not a word was exchanged between the two.
Ditka was talking to his roommate, telling him things, and McMahon was talking to the general manager saying, well, why doesn't he talk to me? So anyway, they did get together and talk. Yeah, and that's why all that talk about, are they going to trade McMahon? Just because he says something and then he gets an injury, people think that that's why, you know, that something with Ditka, he's not playing. He's not playing because his shoulders hurt. But when he doesn't play, this isn't the same football. There's no one that wants to play more than this guy. I mean, he's had his run-ins, he's had his things, but I'll tell you, he wants to play. He doesn't want to be sitting on that ball on that hat. He wants to be out there. And people think that, you know, he doesn't want to play. He wants to be traded. That's a bunch of baloney. They're saying, Pat, is this is strictly precautionary, that it wasn't an injury or a re-injury. I think that's a smart thing to do. You know, he hasn't played. In fact, he hasn't played much all year, including the preseason or during the season. You get him in and get him out of there, because if they're going to repeat, and I think they have a good chance to repeat, this guy has to be underneath the center. I'll tell you, he doesn't look very good.
No, he doesn't.
He looks like he should still be in the hospital. I'll tell you, it was some operation. It was more than they thought it was going to be, worse than they thought it was going to be, and there's some question as to whether he'll be able to come back. I really feel he will. Just knowing the guy, he'll do whatever it takes. I would bet that he's loosening up as I look at that now. When you wear that kind of cap, then you're loosening up for the second half. I don't think he's loosening up for this half. I'll bet you he's going to start the second half, because if he were going to play now, he'd have a harder half. I'll tell you something, I think that obviously when he wasn't in there, the Bears miss him. I think all football misses McMahon. Hear that crowd? They love McMahon. Yep. McMahon comes in. He's cool. You know, Brett Favre was so cool when he was in there today, and then they take the coolness of Brett Favre out and they put the coolness of Jim McMahon in there. He's a great competitor. I mean, you know, you can't take that away. I mean, he's been in Super Bowls. He's won Super Bowls. He knows how to lead a team. The players like him, and he has all those things that maybe the intangibles overcome some of the other things that he lacks. I haven't seen a throw like that, Pat, since you were playing. The old jump pass. Remember how the quarterbacks would come out and they'd always jump as they throw the ball, jump and go backwards, right. And then someone would always take their picture. And look at Jim McMahon. I mean, he's talking to Randall Cunningham there, and he's laughing about what he did. And I think he's laughing about that one that he threw to Calvin Williams, where he just threw it up there. McMahon will do anything for his receivers. You see that? He puts his hand through the hair. He wipes them off with a towel.
I'll bet you right now that he's not. See, he goes and talks to guys like linemen, gets close to the heater.
His favorite guys are always the offensive linemen. I mean, after they make a touchdown, he always goes up, congratulates them with a headbutt. I mean, you know, he meets with them. He always rooms with an offensive lineman.
Jim McMahon told Brett Favre, he said, hey, when I went to the Super Bowl with the '85 Bears, he said, I was a starting quarterback, and I got my 2 backups. He said, not just my backup. He said, if you're the starting quarterback, he says, you have to get your backup into the game.
As I said, unusual.
He has a reaction for everything, doesn't he? Now what does he do? Shake. Oh, boy, doink. Give me a one right in the head there. I love it. Boink. I knew he would like to have been an offensive lineman.
I don't think I've ever seen a kicker so excited when he kicked an extra point as Kevin Butler was on that one. He knew McMahon baked the cake. He had to put the frosting on it. Now watch his thing. His reaction is like he just knocked the guy out. Now watch his best friend, Jim McMahon. He does the, what do they call those things? Pirouette.
Yep, right.
Pirouette. I don't know if you call that a pirouette. Yeah, that's a good pirouette. We're talking about that mask, Pat, and that's what it looks like from the outside. One thing about it is Jim McMahon says you can't read his eyes. Now here's what it looks like from the inside. We put it on our camera in the end zone. So to me, this looks awfully dark because I don't wear sunglasses. But if you were McMahon and you were wearing that, you see that's what it looks like from that camera. We just put the face mask over the camera and the lens, and that's what it looked like. And this is what it looks like without it. I tell you, McMahon not only got knocked down, he got spun around where he goes the other way. He could have just stepped out of bounds, but he hangs in there and knows that he's going to get that hit to throw that ball. McMahon doesn't see him coming. He hits him right there, and then
hits him right into Keith Hamilton. And now Fox has a free shot, and watch Hamilton come in and give a forearm right there to Jim McMahon's head. That was where he got it. I'll tell you one thing about McMahon, you can never question his competitiveness or his toughness.
McMahon with a blitz coming, completes it to Galt. And that'll be enough for a Bear first down. McMahon is down. Slow getting up at least.
I'll tell you, he threw that right between Leroy Irvin and Vince Newsom. Watch his zip. Two defenders. There's Irvin, there's Newsom, and he hit that ball zoom right between those two guys.
They make the reverse. McMahon going deep for Chris Carter. Touchdown, Viking.
And that was a perfect throw by Jim McMahon.
Back in a hurry. And again, no pressure. Anderson again. Touchdown. 6-yard touchdown dive by Neil Anderson, and what a performance by Jim McMahon.
You know, and that's the thing that's amazing to me. I mean, I've always been amazed about this guy. But he had to be rusty, and how he can come back and do that and run the team and run the clock and the 2-minute drill and do all these things. I don't care. I mean, there is a guy who knows this game. He threw it between Suey and 3 Packer defenders. That's what you call throwing a dart on a line. One thing about Jim McMahon, he's not going to go down. I mean, he's still trying to make moves, and he doesn't do one of those slide jobs in there.
And that's what we talk about McMahon. You know that he can't do it. You know that he can't make that throw. He gets in his own end zone, throws it out there to Anthony Carter.
He says one thing, if I see, as he comes back here, if I see an open lane with no linebacker or defensive back in it, I'll take the ball up and get the first down. And now he runs, he makes a move there, takes it to the sideline and picks up a first down. McMahon sees he sees this hole right here. Now look, he just takes a peek to the left to see where that first down is.
Most quarterbacks would have gotten that much yardage and ran out of bounds. Jim McMahon doesn't know how to do that. He saw that opening, and he not only saw an opening on the line, but he saw the opening all the way to the end zone.
That's all McMahon needs. He sees that lane, then boom, right there, right to the outside and in the end zone.
Peyton Malone set back, looking for Anderson. Anderson will have a touchdown from McMahon. 59 yards on the Bears' first offensive play.
That was one thing Jim McMahon said last night. He said one thing we're going to do is get the ball to Neil Anderson all over the field. So the first play, Anderson is split out as a wide receiver. He runs man-to-man on Mark Murphy, the strong safety. And that's a mismatch right off the bat.
McKinnon touchdown.
See McMahon here, he's looking for a blitz. He doesn't get the blitz. He's watching McKinnon all the way. McKinnon runs a quick post on Elvis Patterson, and McMahon hits him right there.
McMahon again sprints out. Throws for Galt, touchdown. What a great throw from McMahon.
What a shot he put in there to Willie Galt. And running to his left and throwing on the left to his run.
Going for Galt. Got him. And Galt is gone.
I'll tell you, anyone that says that the Bears don't miss Jim McMahon or don't need Jim McMahon or that Jim McMahon isn't important has no idea what they're talking about. But here's the guy who can make things happen. I don't care. I mean, the guy, he is a little different, but I'll tell you, if he's not the best quarterback in the NFL, he sure is close to it.